beautiful morning to you out there. The program is the Dailies, your morning programs where we keep you updated with all that is happening on the papers. Today being the 8th of May 2024, we've seen a number of stories on the paper, especially with that where we see CBN have directed banks to start the cybersecurity levy deduction as of May 20th. We saw that from the papers, and a number of people are coming out to kick against that because it's already adding more weight of hardship on Nigerians. I am Seda Elisha Dasham, and I'll be doing the program alongside Rachel. Say good morning.
Good morning, Seda.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. And we shall go straight into the papers, starting with the Voice of Liberty newspaper.
The big story on the paper: NLC TUC give NERC Sunday deadline to reverse electricity tariff hike. Nigeria Labour Congress and its Trade Union Congress of Nigeria counterpart have given the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission till May 12 to withdraw the recent hike in electricity tariff or face unprecedented industrial action. CBN orders bank to deduct cybersecurity levy on all electronic transfers. NNPC again cautions motorists, orders against panic buying. This is still on fuel scarcity. In FCT, gunmen abduct 13 in Abuja community and demand 900 million naira ransom. Tinubu to return today, report from the presidency. Serap gives federal government 48-hour ultimatum to reverse cybersecurity levy. Office of NSA to rake in 415 billion naira monthly from cybersecurity. This is a report. Tinubu to reintroduce telecom tax on Nigerians to boost revenue. This is coming from the World Bank. You can find details inside the paper, and that's all the news on Voice of Liberty.
On Daily Independent newspaper, Senate investigate $18.5 billion sanitary city project after 10 years. There have been more jailbreaks since prisons were renamed Correctional Service, says Apabio. Well, I do not know if that has to do with the name or whatever. But then we'll keep our fingers crossed to see where this story is leading. You can read that in the paper and continue more. Again, NNPCL caution against panic buying, says 30-day PMS sufficiency intact. More detail in the paper. The big story here, it's on Rivers crisis comes to a head as APC says assembly to impeach governor. Use magistrate court to try pro-Wike lawmakers, PDP reps tell the governor. Says 27 lawmakers lack legitimacy to amend procurement law. Once them declared wanted, persecuted for alleged impersonation. Asks INEC to conduct election to fill the vacant seat and save Rivers. Clark writes IGP over impending breakdown of law and order in the state. More details can be found on page 29. UBA consolidate gain in the first quarter of 2024 earnings rise 110%, profit hits 156 billion naira. Tinubu to return today. More detail found on page 6. CBN direct banks to suspend charges on deposit till September. You can find more detail of that on page 6. Why inmates flee Nigerian Correctional Center by Senate, says Suleja prison built over 100 years ago with mud, and that is time for it to be renovated, I think. You can find detail of that on page 6. Troops eliminate IPOB commander in Imo, 2 others in Cross River State. Also, we have Knox, CB and other banks, PSPs to collect cybersecurity levy. Serap gives Tinubu 48 hours to withdraw that directive. EFCC renew clampdown on Abuja BDC's operators. More detail found on page 6. And here's a picture story during the unveiling of this Just City Metro buses that were being launched yesterday, where we could see the governor of the state, his deputy, as well as the former governor of the state, Jonah Jan, and other people, representatives that were there during the launching. And that's all on Daily Independent newspaper.
On First News newspaper, the big story: Fubara Wike feud. Anarchy looms in Rivers. Clark raises the alarm, writes IGP, as Rivers APC directs 27 pro-Wike lawmakers to urgently impeach governor. IBD Dende sues FIJ Arise TV rather and Soyombo over defamation. Court gives 30-day ultimatum. Presidency breaks silence on Tinubu's whereabouts, says he will return today. CBN directs banks to suspend charges on deposits till September, sets deadline for POS operators registration with CAC. NLC pickets trust fund pensions over sack of 45 workers. Kaduna Assembly grills El-Rufai, former commissioner, says many have been indicted. Foreign military base claim 259 groups accuse northern elites of trying to instigate crisis. How Nigerian officials demanded bribe from us, coming from the Binance CEO. Ex-minister alleges manipulations, fraudulent approvals under Buhari's government. Serap gives Tinubu 48 hours to withdraw CBN directive on cybersecurity levy. DSS arrests wanted Oyo Motor Park bus auxiliary. And the downside of the paper, probe Kaduna killings, reps urge IGP and DSS. And that's all the news on First News newspaper.
A new Telegraph newspaper, CBN direct banks to suspend fees on deposit, eases restriction on proceed repatriation by the IOCs, more detail in the paper. And on POS operators to get 2-month deadline to register with CAC, you can find more detail of that on page 7. And on cement, reps summon Alake Dangote BUA orders over price hike, more detail can be found in the paper. Gunmen abduct 13 in Abuja community, demand 900 million naira ransom. Price of 12.5 kg cooking gas fall from 15,600 to 14,400. So that is to say 1 kg is now 1,004 to 1,002. Initially it was 1,4, now it is 1,2. Also, we are having the big story on cybersecurity levy. NLC, POS, and others demand immediate reversal of the CBN's directive. Say it's more burden on already suffering Nigerians. Nation cashless policy confusing citizens, overcharge coming from the private sector. Also, we have levy and another steel tax on private sector coming from the NACCIMA. As Serap gives the federal government 48 hours to withdraw the directive or face a legal action. On fuel scarcity again, NNPC Limited caution against panic buying. You can find more detail of that in the paper. Oluibadan Stu Lakoja withdraws suit against 10 high chiefs. And then on jailbreak, Suleja prison built over 100 years ago with more coming from the Senate. And on Rivers crisis, Clark petition IGP over Wiki and Fubara's field, says plan impeachment by 27 ex-lawmakers, invitation to anarchy, ex-governor Ebe truce not in Rivers instead in interest. This is coming from the APC chief. Ex-governor Abe truce not in Rivers interest. This is coming from APC chief. Senate bars 10 TV station photojournalists from covering plenary. You can find more detail of that on page 5 and 8. And we have a study that says bed watching can improve mental health and reduce stress. So we should take a time out and actually go admire nature, go into bed watching, take some photographs just so we can actually improve our mental health as well as to reduce some distress. And that's all our new Telegraph newspaper.
On the Matrix newspaper, the big story, cybersecurity levy. Fresh outrage erupts. It's another gang up by ruling elite to continue extortion, exploitation of masses. NLC fumes, says it's further burden on shoulders of hard-working Nigerians. Serap issued Tinubu 48 hours ultimatum to withdraw CBN directive. Policy ill-timed, insensitive will exacerbate financial woes of Nigerians, coming from PRP. CBN gives IOCs approval to repatriate 50% of FX proceeds. Dortmund beat PSG to reach Champions League's final. You can find details on page 16. On Rivers crisis, Tinubu's peace deal collapses. APC asks Assembly to resume impeachment proceeding against Fubara. Amid biting fuel scarcity, NNPCL cautions Nigerians against panic buying, says 1.5 billion liters of petrol in stock. After outcry by Atiku, others, presidency says Tinubu will return to Nigeria today. Still on the paper, CBN orders bank to suspend charges on deposits till September. Binance kick against detention of executive, says Nigeria setting dangerous precedent. CBN gives POS operators ultimatum to register with CAC before July 7. Details can be found on page 12. We have a picture story reviewing input-output value of mining industry, where we can see the Minister of Solid Minerals Development. And there's also an entertainment story with Kid versus Don Jazzy. And we have Nasbor receives death threat for supporting Don Jazzy. You can find details on page 14. These are the major stories on the Matrix newspaper.
On Nigerian News Direct, Transcorp Hotel posts 72% increase in revenue, accommodate 82% more occupants. UBA gross earning rise by 110% in the first quarter of 2024. As well, Rivers APC urges assembly members to impeach Governor Fubara. Adeleke flags of 14.9 billion naira flyover bridge in LFA. And on fuel scarcity, we have over 1.5 billion liters stock of PMS coming from the NNPC Limited. And the issue which is on most of our papers concerning the cybersecurity levy ill time will impact adoption of digital transaction coming from Adrison, where the writer here says as CBN exempts 16 transactions, SERAP alleged the levy violate constitution and human rights regulation. Now, before we move further, Rachel, I mean, this is almost like the 5th or 6th paper we're seeing concerning cybersecurity. And I know yesterday you touched it a bit, just briefly, and then we waived it, and today we're saying that it's taking more like the big story on most of our papers. And of course, you will agree with me, Richard, that this is ill time. It just seems as if CBN decided to use this year to bring in different policies that are not sitting well with a number of things. In fact, it looks as if this administration have brought in certain policies after another, just when Nigerians are still trying to wrap their head around the removal of the electricity tariff, the hike in the price, let's say. Because for now, it's just like a hike in the price. It seems as if the government is still paying subsidy for electricity. But then if we're having a hike in that price, and here we're seeing that there is a push that, you know what, we're giving you 7 days to reverse that and all of that. And just before we're done with that, here we're seeing that CBN is giving another directive as of May 20th. So that is to say from next barely 2 weeks from now, we'll be seeing, I mean, for example, if you are having 5 million naira, you'll be paying 5,000 naira. That's what it means, 0.5% of that. And already, let's not even talk about the small businesses that are trying to try, whether we like it or not, just like you said yesterday. If we are saying these are just for business, individuals will have to pay for it eventually. So really right now, what is the aim of this? Because there are certain policies you'll be expecting that, you know, why don't this policy pass through the House? Why do we just see that the bank will just come out? This was what happened to the Naira, to the change of the Naira that we had. There was no any directive whatsoever from either a bill or whatsoever. We just saw that there was a change in it. And then we saw the hardship that that actually put on a lot of Nigerians. Here is another one again, cybersecurity. And the question is, Rachel, we're still yet to recover from various charges that the banks will remove. If you should make a deposit, there will be debit. Yeah. If they even to even make if credit your account, yeah, there will be. So exactly what is it?
I mean, Stella, you asked a valid question. What is the aim of this? And the truth is that the aim is exploitation. The Central Bank of Nigeria cannot say any other thing than it is for exploitation and making gains and money. Because you know what? Cybercrime and cybersecurity is not only a problem faced in financial sector. It's not only a problem faced in financial and institutions. Now, I want to make use of social media as an example. Sure. Because whether we like it or not, we have billions of users on social media. And what do these platforms do? They put on modalities to make sure there is no cybercrime to your account. I've been using social media and my account have never been hacked for once. My Facebook have never been hacked. My Instagram has never been hacked. My WhatsApp have never been hacked. No account of mine has ever been hacked. Why? Because these people sit down and think of modality. It's not everything you must juice money from people, but that's what the Central Bank of Nigeria is doing. It's left for the banks. It's your responsibility to make sure there's cybersecurity at no expense of an individual. It is. What do these social medias do? They brought up something as two-step authentication or verification. It's either your account generates codes every time you try to load in, or there's a permanent code that is being given to you, or your number, or something you're being asked question, password, or certain things. These are all steps. Imagine if all social media platforms will come and be saying every time you log in for cyber security, they will be charging you something. It is their responsibility to make sure you are safe because you're using their platform, for example. So they put in measures. It's not left for you to make use of it. Did you set up your two-step authentication, verification? Did you put everything in place to make sure that it doesn't get hacked? That even if it's about to happen, there is a notification that promptly comes to you and you do something about it. It's not everything that you have to exploit people for it. And it's what the Central Bank of Nigeria is doing. What is the intel? There's no any other thing that the central bank can tell us other than exploitation, other than gains, because you know what? Okay, USSD code. What are the measures you can put if I am doing transaction using my mobile phone? Okay, you have to put this, put this, put that, put this, put that. The steps might be cumbersome, like they might be plenty, but in the end, it's just automation. It's just automation, and you put it there, and then we move because I am using your platform. You're already gaining from me on all levels, like deposit, credit, debit, card charges, maintenance. You're charging me for electronic transfer. You're charging me for the text messages I receive. You're charging me for everything. And then when it comes to cybersecurity, that is supposed to be your sole responsibility because I am using your platform. I'm supposed to be safe banking with GT.com. I'm supposed to be safe banking with First Bank. I'm supposed to be cybercrime proof banking with any other bank because that is your responsibility to make sure that I am safe transacting with you. And you're charging me for what is supposed to be your responsibility. I don't know. The central bank cannot have any other reason than exploitation because that is what it is. No any other thing. They can come up with whatever excuses they want
Very
to.
intelligent one.
But the number one is gains and exploitation. As far as I'm concerned, is nothing more than that because it's easy for you to automate steps that will help people make sure their account and their transaction is safe. It is your responsibility because I have come to you to bank. You are telling me that my money is safe, my transaction is safe. You are the one to make sure that everything I do is safe. I'm not supposed to be paying for my security when I transact on you because that is solely your responsibility. But it's where we are. I mean, Sela, what can you say about the government that have so far not done anything whatsoever to ease the hardship of Nigerians? We just wake up to one thing over another. Are you expecting anything more than what we're seeing right now? I mean, it's not surprising anymore. It's just what's next. We're just waiting for what's next. If the simple ones that could help the life of Nigerians couldn't be put in place, what more? The government is showing us that, you know what, we have nothing more to offer to you. What we have to offer is what we are bringing out to you. And so far, it hasn't been conducive to Nigerians. It's electricity tariff, it's subsidy removal, it's everything, every other thing, and then we'll just, we'll survive. I mean, we saw the president boasting about the Nigerian youth that we know how to find our way around hardship in the World Economic Forum. So, I mean, we will survive in the end.
Rachel, I feel to agree the fact that we find our way around hardship because what I'm seeing personally is giving room to more crime.
Of course.
It's a bank or a CBN trying to tell me that when my account was being hacked by somebody, because I've been a victim, Rachel, whereby somebody had access to my account, and then I was just sleeping, and then various deductions were being made until I lost over 100,000. Or will I talk about the experience of another person that I knew that she doesn't patronize POS. So there's no how you say that maybe during the POS it was being stabbed, nothing whatsoever. And over 50,000 was missing until she confronted the bank, Rachel, and I wonder how they miraculously brought back the 50,000. So what does that imply? Were you the ones that stole the money? Or did somebody outside had access to the account? And so there's so many things, just like you said right now, Rachel. What I'm just going to believe that this is a test, and let me see what this administration, because I believe this is what Nigerians are doing. Let's just fold our arms and see what here Sarah is giving their own directive, right? So let us see if this administration really cares about Nigerians. For another, let's just say we're testing them again and see if they're going to prove Nigerians wrong or prove Nigerians right. True. And then we have the last story on Nigerian News Today, where we have Alinko Dangote Foundation. The World Economic Forum announces 2024 class of Dangote fellows. More detail can be found on page 13, and that's all on Nigerian News Direct.
On the Punch newspaper, the big story, dollar speculation. Federal government rubbishes Binance CEO's bribery allegation. Binance CEO allegation divisionary, no going back on trial, government officials declare. Details can be found on page 17. Federal government woos global investors for 17 oil blocks. 7.5 billion naira fraud, EFCC grills 20 NSCDC contractors and 10 officers. Anger as FIJ reporters spent 7 days in police cell. You can find details on page 29. Warnings of anarchy as APC demands Fubara's removal. And then we have cybersecurity levy will worsen hardship, statement from Labour. You can find details on page 17. And on bullying, police launch probe as Ekiti Varsity expels female students. Ladoja withdraws lawsuit, clears path for Lubadan enthronement. You can find details on page 31. And then we have a picture story where we can see Trump at hush money trial. You can find details on page 31, and that's all the news on the Punch newspaper.
All right, let's take a look at this day newspaper. Central Bank clarifies export proceed repatriation utilization by oil companies. Petroleum profit tax, loyalty, education tax, and other eligible for settlement. You can continue to read the big story in the paper. And on Presidency, Tinubu return today after 2 weeks absence. More detail can be found on page 9. New licensing round, era of front-loaded huge oil signature bonuses over, says Kulula Fair. You can find that story on page 9. And then on cybersecurity tax, NLC, NACCIMA, and others fault timing. And then Ruwani is saying Yusuf says new fee imposes further burden on village citizens. And then Serap issues Tinubu 48-hour ultimatum to reverse the levy, threatening lawsuit. The big story from River State, lawmakers whose seat were void moved to impeach Fubara. Clark asks the IGP to caution anti-governor lawmakers, says the plot is invitation to chaos. You can find more detail in the paper. We have the picture story again, investigative hearing on inputs and output values of mining industry. You can do well to get the paper and read more detail, and that's all on the front page of this day newspaper.
On the Daily Times newspaper, postscript Mahi front page commentary. You can start with the details on the front page and continue on page 6. The big story, outcry over CBN cybersecurity levy on bank transactions. NLC demands immediate reversal. Details can be found on page 4. Kidnappers striking FCT community, abduct 13, demand 900 million naira. New masquerade actress Ovularia of the Brudaya fame dies at 81. Dick wants policy, Abia suspend excavation, trenching activities by telcos. In Kaduna, El-Rufai probe committee to invite more people to testify. Why 100-year-old Suleja prison collapse, Senate explains. You can find details on page 22. Whatsoever, you don't have an explanation. It's supposed to have been renovated years ago and nobody did the job. Rep Suman Dangote, Lafarge, BUA, other cement coils over high cost details can be found on page 2, and that's all the news on the Daily Times newspaper.
On Daily Sun newspaper, still on Keating's reps mandate COAS IGP to beef up security in Ozu, Wani, and then the writer here say as lawmakers seek deployment of mercenaries, data found on page 5. Fubara risks impeachment as APC woo lawmakers. Party directs state assembly to impeach the governor. You lack the color standing to call for sack coming from information commissioner. And then Clark writes, IGP one of eminent danger. And I would like to ask the question, Rachel, what really is the problem? What exactly have the governor of the state done to mandate APC interfering in a state that is being run by PDP? For them to say that the lawmakers were being impeached to sack him. Now, we will recall how the story unfolded initially when it started, that these lawmakers were all in PDP before there was this, will I say, carpet crossover, and then about 17 of them actually, cross carpet to the APC. And here we're seeing APC saying that they should go ahead and do that. And Rachel, I said, there's a problem I have with the kind of politics we practice in Nigeria. I mean, this is supposed to be where you're in yellow house, I'm in green house, and then during the inter-house sport, we're all members of the same school. All we did, or all we will do during the inter-house sport is just to run and represent our house. But then nevertheless, there's always going to be a winner and a loser, but that doesn't mean the school should be on fire. And that is what I'm seeing happening in River State. I mean, it started from demolition of the assembly house to bringing up a temporary place, and then happening to who will be this, where we're having two speakers represent. And then there was so much of confusion and chaos, and then you just can't help but wrap your head around is what is happening. It's either we're having pro-Wiki or we're having pro-Fubara. This is not supposed to be it.
It's not supposed to be said, and honestly, the truth is, I believe that what is really the problem is not on the papers. We just know there's a feud between Wike and Fubara. But who can say what the feud is all about? So like, if I have an issue with you, you owe me money, you owe me money. If I have an issue, if you have an issue with me, you said something about me and it's not true. You said something about me that is not true. It's an issue. You stole from me, it's an issue. You said this about me, it's an issue. You did something wrong. We know what it is, right? But we've just been hearing few loyalists moving from one party to another, closed door meeting and peace accord whatsoever, signing and deal, and nobody, as far as I'm concerned, whatever is their issue is so personal that is beyond even politics as far as I'm concerned. But they are trying to use politics and loyalty to settle their score, whatever it is. I believe that we don't know. No, as far as I'm concerned, nobody ever said precisely what's the problem. What's Wike's problem with Fubara? And what is Fubara refusing to do that Wike wants him to do? What is actually the problem? We just know there's a feud that is scattering the whole state, a feud that is making commissioners to resign. What's that? And what really is the problem? Why is it lingering for this long? And the truth is, I don't think the real issue is really out there. I honestly don't think the real issue is out there, because if it was out there, it would have been solved by now. It's very, very personal in my opinion, because this is getting tiring, because what political issues can be solved? If it is a legit political problem, there are rules, laws, regulation. We have laws guiding that. So we should have had something that could have solved it by then. If it was something that is in the paper, we should have something that can be able to solve that, and just, put a judgment on it and say this is the way forward. But obviously it's not one of those things. And then I think we've just gotten to the point that we just have to just watch and see what Fubara and Wike will end up being like. How is it going to end eventually? And when will it come? Because it must come to an end. I mean, if Fubara wants to spend his 4 years fighting Wike, fine, 4 years will come and go, and then we'll get another person. And if they want to impeach him, fine, they'll put another person, and it will definitely come to an end, but we are actually
Yeah, we're
tired
getting
of it,
tired of
Sele.
it.
Yes.
Very true, Rachel. We're getting so tired, and I wonder why few individuals will decide to hold a whole state to ransom. In fact, as
Yeah.
it's looking right now, they want to hold Nigeria to ransom, Rachel,
Exactly.
because every day we just have to get into this issue of this
Yeah.
story. But just like you said, if it is personal, but the question would be, if it is personal, why bring your personal problems
Our
into the
selfish
governance?
leaders, Sele.
And
Our
this is the
selfish
kind of,
leaders.
but these are the
Yeah.
places that we've gotten it all wrong.
Yeah.
And just like I said, it's simple politics, simple governance. But I wonder why we make it so complicated in this country. Well, we keep our fingers crossed, just like you say, what will be eventually. Still on the front page of Daily Sun newspaper, Syrup gives Tinubu 48 hours to withdraw CBN directive on cybersecurity levy charges. It's ill time, and then financial inclusion coming from experts. Gunmen killed 3 in Edo, kidnapped 13 in Abuja community. And then on UTME, JAM allows candidate on activities of fraudsters and mischief makers. Releases additional 531 results. So for those who are yet to see their result, do well to go and check. Apabio picks holes in renaming of prison to correctional center, says there's more jailbreaks now. And I wonder why that should be the reason. Not only are we having the fact that because Suleja prison is over 100 years, now we're seeing that because we changed the name to correctional center. Of course, what is it? It is a correctional center. So please, I hope that we should look for something more intelligent to say the reason why things are collapsing rather than because of the name. Changing the name doesn't really necessarily mean that we'll have more prison breaks. So whether you call it a prison, whether you call it a jail, correctional center, I just believe what will be. So we should just have will I say, a wider scope of things, Rachel. We should just have a better way. I mean, this should be a time we should go around and start analyzing most of our prisons or most of our correctional facilities. Are they up to standard? Is there a crack? Is there a need for renovation? Is there a need to move them to a particular temporary site while we work? This should be what we should be looking into, not saying because the name was changed. Sometimes certain comments make Nigerians wonder what really is this, but I don't know, Rachel.
I honestly wish the Senate president can answer my question. Does he think before he talks? With no offense, sir. What, for Christ's sake, Sele, what is the meaning of this more jailbreak than when we change the prison to correctional center? And in the countries that they have been calling it correctional center, they don't have prison break. They don't have jailbreaks. They don't have inmates just running loose. They don't have building collapsing. They don't have all of that, and they have been calling it a correctional center for years. And it's only in Nigeria because the gods of prison is angry that we changed the name of his prison from prison to correctional, and then he's what does that even mean in the first place? You have a building that is 100 years old, and the question is, when last was it renovated?
Because there are wears and tears.
When last was it renovated? It is where you are storing criminals. Let me put the word like that. And you know it's 100 years. And the question is, when last was it renovated? And finally, the wind just helped people that were waiting on chance for them to break out. The weather just came, and then you are saying something like that. And you just can't help but wonder. I mean, these people are intelligent, and he knows his position for him to think that way. You are the Senate President of Nigeria, for Christ's sake. You're supposed to be very intelligent. Even when you are joking, you're supposed to, even in a joke, you're supposed to sound intelligent, because people are listening to you, wanting to hear you proffer solution to the problems in the country, wanting to hear you say, what is the next step of action? Wanting make this statement in your closed door when you're joking with your colleagues, you know, out of press, just when you want to make a joke in your cycle of friends, but not for Nigerians to hear this type of thing. I mean, it's really sad. It shows that we are sleeping, and I am yet to see this 10th House of Assembly do anything drastic for Nigerians so far. They have been in office. We are yet to see them do anything concerning palliative, concerning the hardship, concerning electricity tariff, concerning fuel subsidy removal, I am yet to see the 10th House of Assembly do anything major for Nigeria. All I keep seeing is careless and senseless statement coming from the 10th House of Assembly ever since into office and all of that. But when it comes to taking drastic steps for Nigeria, nothing so far whatsoever. And our eyes are on them because you are our lawmakers. You are the ones to make Nigeria move or stay where it is regardless, because if there was no need for you, there wouldn't be that office in the first place. So you are existing for a reason and for a purpose. So rather than this kind of call, who have been, you know, the controller general of prisons for years, have these prisons been renovated? And if they have not been, have money been given in the past years for them to be renovated? And why were they not? This is a call for action to probe and look into the conditions of the prison. What have the funds, maybe channel that have been given to say these facilities that have been old to renovate, nothing has been done about it, and look at where we are. And then you're making such expensive jokes about something that's serious, because more people are out there. I can imagine the havoc these criminals are already doing in one community or the other.
Very true, Richard. And just like let them just help us make sense out of certain things.
Yes.
Just like you said, we hope that this is just a joke, but just like you said, even in our jokes, we should actually sound intellectual in saying certain things. Let us look at the first quarter of UBA hits 156 billion naira profit earning, rise by 110%. Find more of that on page 25. And Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway rail components to Gobin $11.174 billion, with the rider completion set for 6 years. Atiku out to mislead Nigerians, says Umahi. You can find that on page 2. Downside, Olubadan stool, Lokoja withdraws lawsuit against kingmakers, governor, and others. You can find more. And we have few picture stories on the front page of the paper. The Deputy Senate Press Leader, this is President of the Senate, as well as others during the Committee of Privatization yesterday. And then we also have Mr. David Lammy in the UK, Labour Party MP, and then Shadow Foreign Secretary with Mr. Peter Obi yesterday in the House of Commons, London. And that's all on Daily Sun. And then we just hope to take a break at this moment so you could chew the stories, analyze them, drop your comments, and when we come back, we will continue with the paper review. Please stay tuned with us.
The gospel of Jesus Christ is our Heavenly Father's plan for the happiness and salvation of His children. Equa Television International shares the gospel of Jesus Christ because the world must come to the realization of the power in the atonement of sin through the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ. Sharing with the world the message of hope that can clean anyone from sin to enjoy the peace that is in Him. Equa Television International is live 24/7, preaching the message of salvation and truth to the world. Pray for Equa TV. Support Equa TV. Be part of Equa TV. Keep watching Equa Television International. The gospel of Jesus Christ is our Heavenly Father's plan for the happiness and salvation of His children. Equa Television International shares the gospel of Jesus Christ because the world must come to the realization of the power in the atonement of sin through the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ. Sharing with the world the message of hope that can clean anyone from sin to enjoy the peace that is in Him. Equa Television International is live 24/7, preaching the message of salvation and truth to the world. Pray for Equa TV. Support Equa TV. Be part of Equa TV. Keep watching Equa Television International.
The mandate of reaching out to the world with the message of salvation and truth is a zeal that has consumed us. Equa Television International is live 247, reaching out to the unreached with undiluted message of hope through its programming.
You can be part of what God is using us to do by praying for Equa TV and supporting Equa TV. Keep watching Equa Television International.
We are a Christian station with the driving force and mandate to reach out to the world with the gospel of salvation and truth through programming and soul-lifting events.
You can join on this mandate. Let's spread the gospel of truth and salvation to the world. Pray for Equa Television. Support Equa Television. Keep watching Equa Television.
Sharing with the world the message of truth to help people come to the saving knowledge of our Lord and King, Jesus Christ, as well as find solace in Him.
From sermon, theology, undiluted biblical principles to Christian music and drama that aims to give hope, peace, strength, happiness, as well as strengthen the faith of those who diligently seek Jesus Christ.
Welcome back. It's still the dailies. We have been looking at a number of stories on the paper where we're seeing Senate giving some of the reasons why the prison, there are more of prison breaks, such as the change of the name from prison to correctional center, as well as especially the Suleja prison that have been in existence for over 100 of years. And then also SIRAP is giving the federal government ultimatum of 48 hours to reverse the issue of cybersecurity, which we know is very serious. This will add more burdens on Nigerians. So we would love to hear your own view. Please do remember to drop it on Facebook because we want to know your own opinion concerning any of these stories. I still have Rachel Tanzi with me. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome, Sally.
All right, let's continue with the paper review.
On the Nation newspaper, ECOWAS forced to battle terrorism in Nigeria and others. Sub-regional bodies sourcing $2.4 billion to raise counter-terrorism troops. From Olubadan, Coast Clear for Olakuleyin, Ladoja withdraws suit. Details can be found on page 25. Relocate people from flood-prone areas, NEMA tells 33 governors. UBA consolidates with 110% gross earnings growth. CBN extends suspension of cash deposit charges. Details can be found on page 7. 2024 oil bid round for only investors with technical know-how, says Lopobiri. You can find details on page 4. Oil firms to inject 50% export proceeds into forex market. Rivers APC directs lawmakers to impeach Fubara. It is a smokescreen, says government. Clark sees IG's intervention. NNPCL cautions against panic buying of petrol. Senators false chamber renovation. Details can be found on page 2, and that's all the news on the Nation newspaper.
All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. Federal government shun financial inclusion, imposes more taxes on citizens and depositors, where we can see depositors tax, hardware, telecom, naira debit and cash replacement, individuals cash deposit above limit, and then corporate cash deposit above limit, where we can see the percentage being allocated to each of these statements of account. Of course, if you need your statement of account, you have to pay 200 naira to the bank. For SMS, alert 4 naira, stamp duty 15 naira. So this is a breakdown of deductions that are being done for your deposit, your tax, and indirect ways where you pay. And this all sum up to the cybersecurity levy that has been added to about 0.5%. Now, the value of electronic payment in the past 8 years, from 2016 to 2023, as of 2016, it was 62 trillion naira. That is talking about the value of electronic payments. And then as of 2023, it was 600 trillion naira. Now, all of this, if you add it up, now you begin to see how Nigerians are feeling concerning all of these deductions, the pain and all of that. So I think this is quite interesting for everyone to take a closer look, and I hope that the CBN will also, look through some of these policies that they have decided to make, and then if it is possible, they should retrace their steps. Still on the Guardian newspaper, we have the NERC higher tariff review for discos, light or darkness. This is a question that Nigerians are asking. Are they adding the tariff for darkness or for light? Abandoned 4,837 export containers at Apapa port causes tear. Federal government certifies Tinubu fit. Explain absent. You can find more detail of that on page 3. We will recall Nigerians have been asking, where have the president been after talking about the World Economic Forum, and here we're saying that he will be coming back into the country today. UBA profit hit 142.5 billion naira in the first quarter of 2024. Petrol price to rise as federal government struggles to sustain supply. APC OK's assembly plot to impeach Fubara. 200 jobs at risk as Microsoft shut down Innovation Center in Lagos. This is a business story you can find on page 15. Fake doctor NERP in Lagos with forged OAU NMDC certificates. Now we're having the issue. The Japa syndrome is beginning to taking a toll on us, and we hope that more people will be actually arrested, those who are using fake certificates. Also, we have Lekki corridor meant for farming, not housing, says Lagos government. And then on the issue of the hike of price for cement, Reps knock Alake, Dangote, BUA and others over the failure to honor invitation concerning the hike of the price. And that's all on the Guardian newspaper.
On Nigerian Tribune, UBA consolidates gains as first quarter profit hits 156 billion naira. We have over 1.5 billion liters of petrol that will last for over 30 days, NNPC is assuring Nigerians. Ladoja withdraws suit against Olubadan in council. You can find details on page 4. The big story, cybersecurity levy will add more burden on Nigerians, coming from experts, says federal government should suspend it to save businesses from running down. Levy another subtle tax on private sector, put implementation on hold, coming from CPPE. Serap gives Tinubu CBN 48 hours to withdraw unlawful levy. You can find details on page 2. Helicopter operators aviation ministry at loggerheads over landing charges. Operators divided into 2 groups. 25 states, 72 local government areas within flood high-risk area between April and June. This is NEMA warning the state government. You can find details on page 3. No more justification for stopping 35,000 naira wage award, coming from Labour. Government abduct 13 in Abuja community, demand 900 million naira ransom. Kill 3 oil staff in Edo State. You can find details on page 26. Proceed with Fubara's impeachment. Rivers APC tells lawmakers. PDP keeps mom clerk to IGP. Act now on Rivers crisis, says Fake. Lawmakers driving Nigeria to anarchy. You can find details on page 4. Although APC primary, Jimo Ibrahim wants APC barred from November poll. Insists election not conducted in 15 LGs. Alleged Ododo Omo Agege change collation center without prior notice. Details can be found on page 2, and that's all the news on Nigerian Tribune.
On the leadership newspaper, 11 months after, which is the big story, absence of governing council worsens varsity crisis, where we're seeing about 42 governing council dissolved in June 2023, about 52 federal universities currently operating without a governing council, and then 10 federal universities established in 2021 are yet to actually have a governing council. And then uncertainty grips most of the universities over the absence of governing council, and then vice chancellors and unions at loggerhead over the running of the universities, which means there is a need for governing council so that things will run smoothly in our varsities. Still on leadership newspaper, gunmen kidnap 13 in FCT, demand 900 million naira ransom. And Air Rufai's probe Kaduna Assembly quizzes former aides. Despite NNPCL 1.5 billion Later stock, petrol scarcity persists. You can find more detail of that. And on what is trending, FCCPC to block loan apps harassing Nigerians. And then on numbers, 780. Okay, that story is all quite clear, but you can read more detail of all the stories on page 2. And we have tension as Rivers APC orders Assembly to impeach Fubara. Nigerians kick against the 0.5% cybersecurity levy. UBA profit after tax rises by 165% in the first quarter. Bandit kill ADAP bank manager in Zamfara State. Security forces kill IPOP commander and 2 others in Imo State. And that's all on the leadership. And I think Rachel will just take the last paper from you.
On Vanguard newspaper, UBA records 110 rise in gross earnings to 570 billion naira. And Edo Guba Obaseki legacy group set for showdown. Impeach Fubara, now Rivers APC urges 27 assembly members. President Tinubu's first year in office propelling Nigeria towards renewal. This is a discussion you can find on page 24, which will be done by Mohammed Idris, Information Minister. Controversy trails CBN cybersecurity levy on electronic transaction. NLC rejects levy, demands immediate withdrawal. The big story on the paper, oil block, federal government removes signature burners to woo investors. Signature burners highest in Nigeria, says Lopoviri. At oil will remain relevant to Nigeria's economy. 667 firms eyeing 57 oil blocks on offer. Tinubu returns to Nigeria today, coming from presidency. There's a column by Afe Babalola on page 22. Infinity, I trust, a statement from Truth Econ. You can find details on page 29, and that's all the news on Vanguard newspaper.
Well, that's how far we can go on the program this morning. Thank you, Rachel, for doing this with me. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to our supporters for always making it out to be with us on the dailies. We look forward again to being here tomorrow. Do have a great day ahead.